Hi, I'm Josh Ackman with Park Industries Customer Service Department. On this video, we are going to be running our miter offset square, or the miter calibration square. This is what it refers to in the manual on how to program or how to calibrate for your miters. So to start out with here, we already drove our machine into position and right where we want it to start. It is based off of center of arbor, so that red dot, how the square is laid out, that red dot would be center of arbor. So we drove that into our position. We can capture our position there. So it runs right at that location and we'll cut out that square. Material thickness is updated on what we want our material thickness on already. And our blade is already set up with the proper speeds there. So to start here, make sure our arbor is enabled, and we will just start program and hit yes, and we will run our mitered offset program. Now this program will mill the material down to your desired thickness. So this program does take a while, but it will mill all that down to make sure you have the proper thickness, because thickness is key for when you are doing mitered squares. This program will take about 15 to 20 minutes to run. Okay, now that our mitered square is cut out, first thing I want to point out is that I labeled the square right away, which was the X and which was the Y axis, to make sure we put those numbers in the correct boxes here. And we did have to take a screwdriver and just pop our square out, because that does not, on that one side, it does not make the cut all the way through, so it was not loose. But we popped it out so we wouldn't have to do our measuring on the table and try and get in there. Is one reason why we did that. When we take our measurements, we want to make sure that we are not measuring if we chipped out that material at all with the screwdriver or anything. We don't measure right there. So we'll show you how we're measuring that then. And I already have my measurements marked down, but we'll show you here. On these mitered squares, I like to bring my caliber down so I'm not at the sharp end of the caliber there, and I have the flatter end in there. By doing that, the sharper ends don't get into, if there's any chipping or anything on our material, it doesn't recess in that, and I get a little more average of a number. We'll also just go down and measure in 3-4 spots and just take an average of those numbers on there. And same thing with our Y-axis here. Just on the flat side of the caliber there, and take our average. Once you have them numbers jotted down, we can input them values in here. So we'll enter our X here first. And our Y-axis. Once you have them values in, just double check them to make sure they look right. We didn't misplace the decimal point or anything like that. And we're just going to hit calculate and set. So here it gives you if you want to accept or reject it. So our miter offset here, you can tell it changed by 10 thou. So I'm fairly confident that that is a good number. If that number gets too high, you might want to look at doing some dialing there in the A or C axis, and making sure your blade offset is also correct, all that. If you don't think that's correct, you can reject it and re-input your numbers there. But we're just gonna hit accept on this one. And that's our new value now. That is how to run the miter calibration square, the procedure that we have in the manual, and the program that's on the machine. As always, if you have any questions, please give our customer service department a call, and we'll be glad to help. Thank you.